Did you always think you'll be an entrepreneur?
Nope. No.
Really?
Hello, Action Queens. My name is Dumi Mokokwe. I'll be interviewing queens who are taking action towards fulfilling their life purpose, believing that you will be encouraged and inspired on your personal journey. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you if you've already subscribed. Now click on the notification button so you can be notified when a new video is uploaded. Our guest today is Thabang Radebe, a young professional photographer who has built an impressive portfolio within a short space of time. Her work was listed top 10 in 3 categories of the Admired in Africa Photography Awards. Her company Thabang R Photography lists international corporate clients, celebrity weddings, and diverse people of South Africa in its portfolio. In our talk, we find out how she changed careers after 10 years as a graphic designer to pursue her purpose through photography. We also cover how she became an entrepreneur, the value of finding the right mentors, networking, and relationship building to ensure success.
Welcome, Thabang. It's such a pleasure to finally be able to talk to you. I am so excited about our chat. I always love it when I talk to creatives.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
Did you always think you'll be an entrepreneur?
Nope.
Was it somewhere in the back of your mind?
Nope. No.
Really?
Maybe I had traits when I was a kid, because I do know that I liked selling things, kotlasing, like dikuku or cupcakes and things. Maybe it was there, but it was never an intentional thing. So
To be on your own someday and do your own thing.
girl, I never, ever, ever, ever thought in a million years that would be the path I'd take. I mean, just thinking about it is quite intimidating. So for me, I was kind of like tricked into it, if that makes sense.
The same way I feel about Action Queens. I know. Like, I never thought. Now, you never thought of being an entrepreneur and you're finding yourself being on your own. What exactly do you do and what services do you offer?
So I'm a photographer and own a business, because these two things are different things, because I work for myself. So I have my own company called Thabang R Photography, and I am the main photographer. I specialize in traditional weddings and events. I also do like other small shoots, like your family shoots and your corporate shoots. But my main focus is that when someone thinks of me, I want them to think corporate event or traditional wedding before everything else, because those are my
Why traditional weddings? What's so special? Because they're weddings. Why over specific traditional wedding?
Because there's a story there, like you never know what's gonna happen. Families are different. And I'm after the story. I'm not after the generic white dress, shoes. No, I'm not after that. So my main focus is getting the story and getting it in an authentic way. And for me, traditional weddings, without a traditional wedding, Libala, there's no wedding. Your uncles need to meet first before anything can carry on, So for me, that's more interesting.
Wow, that's such a beautiful take on it. Because a lot happens there. It's not just walking down the aisle and all of that. There are relatives, the singing, the competition, the family, all of that. And wow, it is beautiful. And
I like how you can invite the community. You're not cutting people out. Unfortunately, because of white weddings, they're costly. You only allow a certain amount of people to come to your wedding. That traditional wedding, you invite everybody, and that's what we're all about, like collective. Everybody's happy, everybody's free, everybody's real. Whereas I feel like with the white wedding, people are a bit more confined and not entirely themselves, because they're in a different space and everything is just curated and coordinated, so nothing's really flowing.
You just made me remember back before COVID happened. I would have probably weddings by now.
I miss shooting weddings so much, but yeah, I suppose we just need to wait this out.
The vibe, people, relatives, long last. and it's a happy occasion, unlike funerals. So corporate events, what kind of corporate events? Is it like maybe award ceremonies or anything that the company would need? Or is it like specific shoots for annual reports and that type of thing?
No, anything corporate, nothing specific really. So whether it's a Christmas party, whether it's a meeting, whether it's an activation, whether it's a training session, I suppose, yeah, I'm flexible with that. I suppose an event and these events, as long as there are lots of people and reactions and there's interaction, then I'm keen on being there.
So both these things require gathering of people, and currently during lockdown, there's a limit to the number of people. How has it impacted your business, and what are your hopes out of this situation?
So it's impacted the business like pretty hectically. I've had a few things that have been postponed, others have been cancelled, which is quite rough. But right now, I suppose I'm focusing on other things that I've kind of dabbled in the past, like voiceover stuff. And I've done an art shoot here or there, like profile shoots and whatnot, which is cool. It's keeping me going, a few family shoots here and there. But to be honest, it has impacted me in a big way. But I've also just learned from the situation that I can now focus on the groundwork, like the business side of it. So like getting my website to be more seen, learning about SEOs, figuring out how I can do better with the social media, upping my skill in terms of how I edit. There's so many things on the ground that I could be fixing, which I am currently fixing. So I'm not letting that whole thing really get to me, because that's just going to stress me out and that won't bring me any money if you think about it.
So how do you keep the faith up, and how do you keep yourself motivated? Because now you're an entrepreneur. Ahuna boss who's gonna say, Thabang, why are you late? Or deadline or anything like that. How do you keep yourself going? Because in business, a lot of self-discipline is required. Self-motivation, self-discipline, self-reliance. How are you navigating that?
Look, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's going to happen. I love what I do. I love my clients. So because I enjoy it so much and I've committed myself to it, it's second nature, really. Not all secret, don't get me wrong, but getting the job done, it is what it is. If you enjoy it, you're going to do it. You're going to deliver. Despite the flames you see along the way, I am stubborn about my craft. I am stubborn about delivering. So no matter how I feel, it's fact over feeling. Feelings come and go. You will feel lazy. You will feel lazy now and be okay tomorrow. I'd rather just focus on the fact I'm going to do the work. I'm going to make the client happy. And my feelings I'll deal with those at a later stage.
That's amazing. You said you love your job. That's something that's very scarce. Like, not a lot of people love what they do. People are in careers that they're not happy being in and are not enjoying. And it might be something that you are good at, but the enjoyment factor is not there. How did you strike that gold,
I suppose, like, I like interacting with people, but I like this and that it humbles me, and that it's not about me. It's about the people I'm watching. I get to watch people. I get to see happiness, which fuels me. I'm constantly looking for smiles. I'm constantly looking for moments. And that just fuels me. It just gives me that excitement. Yeah, like, what is life all about? Life is about moments. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to document that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You've been blessed with the opportunity to document the moments, and some of the most important moments in people's lives. Just going back to traditional weddings, it's so, I don't know, when you look back at a photo album and you see your relatives that are no more and some that you haven't seen in a long while, you see them laughing in a happy place. It's just something big, and you've got pictures to show generations to come. Yeah, exactly. So you're in a very fortunate space. So how did you discover photography? Did you always love it, and like you went to work knowing that one day I will become a photographer and this is what I'll do?
Nope. So with me, I know, right? So with like as close as 2012, 2013 even, had you come to me and said, Thabang, you're going to be in photography, you're going to be a photographer, all of that stuff, I would have been on some, get out of here, you know? So what sparked my interest is before I got married, a friend of mine, one of my best friends, invited me to a wedding expo. And at that point, I realized that there were no black female photographers, you know, that kind of thing. And for me, it didn't make much of a big deal, but it's something I did notice at the time. Then I realized that there was only one black male photographer. Oh, man, why? Like, why is this like this? And then we were disappointed by the guy who did our engagement shoot. And at that point, I was like, And I was watching him take the photos, and I was like, no, man, I can do this, you know, especially because I've got a graphic design background. So I was like, no, I'm going to actually try this. So yeah, I got my first camera. I fidgeted with it. I figured it out. But the ladies that eventually did shoot our wedding, I had spoken to them about wanting to get into photography. But because I was so passionate about it, when I got the camera, I would just shoot. And when I got stuck, I'd contact them and be like, okay, how do I do ABC? And I think that's where they picked up that I was also serious. I wasn't expecting them to do all the work for me. I was doing the work, and I had photos up on my Facebook page where everybody was aware that now I picked up this new hobby. So by the time I actually did start working with the ladies that mentored me, they already saw where I was at. So I literally hit the ground running because of my determination to get this right.
So you see a photographer that does the job, you don't like what he's doing. What didn't you like? The quality of the pictures or what he captured? What was it?
The quality of the service, the quality of the
Okay.
pictures, and just the fact that it was a space where there weren't many people of color and we have so many stories. Obviously, at the time, I didn't look at it from a story perspective, but I was just curious to see. I wanted to know why, especially because before the photography, I was in the graphic design industry. That was very male dominated. I've always asked, why is this like this? You know, with graphic design, it was a case of why are there so many guys? Where are the girls? So with photography, it was like, where are all the black ladies? Where are all the black people? You know? So that's kind of what sparked my curiosity.
What sparked the interest? And you thought, hang on, I could fill up that gap. So now you are showing interest in photography, and you then buy a camera and think you can do this. The bravery to share your pictures on Facebook. So you clearly had an eye and that confidence to say this is good enough to post publicly for everybody to judge and see.
No, I wasn't even thinking that, hey. For me, it was a case
Is
of,
it?
I've picked up this new hobby. I'm really excited. I like the picture. I'm putting it out there. I really didn't, for me, it was consistency. And for me, I would look at like my favorite photographer's work and like not really mimic, but like try getting it to that point. Which is why I was able to ask for help when I needed help. So that when the photographer would be like, okay, let me see your stuff, I've got something to show for it. So I wasn't even thinking of what people were thinking in terms of criticism, and I wasn't there. I was just like, I'm on a mission here. I need to get this right. I'm going to figure it out. I know I'm going to make tons of mistakes along the way, but I'm going to get it right. Interesting thing is my why. This is very important when doing something you enjoy. I discovered my why during this time. And it's interesting you say it. You mentioned it earlier about memories and, you know, memories living on, especially for people that are passed on. I remember doing a shoot with a family where the young boy had a kidney problem. And it was one of, in fact, it was the hardest shoot for me because that's where I actually felt I was shooting with my heart now. And I remember doing the shoots, getting home, uploading the images, and before editing, I just cried. Like, I cried intensely. I eventually finished editing the images, and I remember calling my mentor, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this normal? Like, I'm crying over images. And she's like, that means you're connecting with what you're doing. That means you're in the right space. You know, for me, it was never about the money. Never, ever. I kid you not, it was not about the money. And with that mentality, I think I've gotten far because I've invested so much in enjoying it that the money is like a bonus. If you do something consistently or take care of your passion, it will take care of you.
It's very important to connect with what you are doing on a deeper level, to have impact,
Yes.
and not just for money or to pay the rent. I was listening to somebody say, you know what, there had to be something more to life. Because if all I had to live for was to pay rent, then kill me now. What am I living for? So it had to be bigger. And now I'm loving that when you started, it wasn't as clear as it is now in terms of it being the big purpose or the bigger why behind it. It was, okay, I'm liking this. And as you explored, as you ventured into it, then you felt
It clicked.
something click into place, to say, yeah, this is it. And I'm happy going for it. So the importance of, you've mentioned mentoring and starting so that you have something to show when you do eventually ask for help.
Yeah.
So how did you identify your mentors, and how have you worked with them to gain? Because sometimes you approach somebody, please mentor me, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm your mentor, and then
True. Like I said initially, because I've had 3 mentors, I'm on my 4th one. So basically what I did with the first, in fact, let me go all the way back. So even before meeting the first set of mentors, I was looking at different photographers when I was looking for our wedding, right? And that's where I picked up the different styles that I liked and the different pricing and all of that stuff. So I'd read about different photographers, how they started, and that's kind of where I picked up that, oh, I like this photographer's work. Oh, that's interesting. Without knowing that I was going to get into photography, but I was looking at it from a client perspective. Then I came across these ladies' work, and then I looked at their stuff, and I was like, well, their stuff is really nice. It made me feel a certain way. So I worked with them. I went on wedding. First, I started off going to family shoots with them. Then I started shooting weddings with them. And this is another thing. I was very committed. So I would go to work on the weekend. On Saturday, I would get to the office at 4 a.m. because I used to work on shifts. I was able to get to work at 4 a.m., knock off at 2 p.m., and then still go and assist at a wedding until 11 o'clock at night. And note, the next day I'm still going to work at 4 in the morning. I didn't feel it at the time. Why? Because I was driven by passion and curiosity, and I really wanted to learn. So whoever's in it for the money, good luck to you, because type thing. So I
read something today that said, if you are in it for quick cash, you quit in a year, because that's not how it works.
Because it's a lot of work. It's just a bonus that I enjoy it, that kind of thing. So I worked with these mentors. We shot a few weddings and stuff, and I picked up what I could. They saw how serious I was. They saw that I was shooting independently as well. They were giving me tips here and there. I took what I could, and then once I got to a point where I realized, okay, cool, I get kicked out of the nest, or it's time for me to move on to the next thing. Then I was curious. So with them, it was a case of, how does a wedding work? How does lighting work? Okay, cool. They worked a lot with natural light. Then I bumped into my second mentor, and he's from Mexico. So I had spotted him while I was looking for a photographer for the wedding. His background, he has a graphic design background. I looked at his work. I really liked it. I liked how he edited. So what did I do? I reached out. At this time, we met up, we exchanged notes, and then I started going to weddings with him.
Yeah. So reach out. You make it sound easy. You identify someone on a picture who looks successful and professional and is of a different culture. So you just pick up the phone. Hi, my name is Thabang. I like your work. Can I come and be your mentee?
Okay, let me break it down. So I sent him an email with a link to my work. So I sent him an email with a link to my work, right? Stating that, hey, my name is Thabang. I'm a photographer. I really love your work, and I would love to work with you. And from that, we set up a meeting where we actually met, And the nice thing is that photographers can pick up if your work is driven by their style, if I can put it like that. So I'm sure he saw elements of his work in what I was trying to get to, which resonated with him, which even gave him the time of day, or which gave me the time of day in his books. So we met up, and then we got along, and then I started shooting a few weddings with him. What he taught me was how to dress for a wedding, etiquette, and
You need to dress in a certain way.
yeah, I don't like it. In fact, now that I've learned, it's very disrespectful to rock up to a wedding wear berry jeans and tops. Like, people have gone to go buy expensive outfits. The bride has bought an expensive dress. The groom's bought an expensive suit. You're gonna rock up in jeans and a t-shirt.
But you are behind the camera.
No, you're networking. You're networking. You are going to be seeing a lot of other potential people, like potential clients. Exactly. So what impression do you want to leave? It's up to you though. If you want to be seen as behind the scenes supplier, cool. But some of us want to be seen as, like professional. You want to stand out. You want people to be curious about what quality of work you're delivering.
What do you wear now?
So I wear all black. I dress informal, but I'm thinking of transitioning now. So I've done that, but I hate that I still blend into the supplier list. So now I want to dress up in such a way that I'm in a traditional attire, because it's professional. I mean, we're South African, we're Africans.
Yes.
So it's going to be in a very tasteful way, but that's going to make me stand out because I'm after your story. That is my brand. Thank you.
So, because it ties completely with what you've been saying, your why is, and all of that.
So then he would teach me how to edit quickly, because you used to edit in Photoshop. So he'd time me. It was intense. He was like my dad. Like, did you take your vitamins? Make sure you get to the wedding at this time, And it was quite cool because he also told me that I should look up to international photographers. I mustn't look here. I must look beyond, because there's a variety all over the world. That taught me something. And then once I was done with him for a few months, then I spotted my third mentor, who was very good with flash and lights and strobes and had that fashion feel to his work. Now, how I met him was that he took pictures of my modeling portfolio. And
do you model?
Yes, that's another. that's another. I did some commercial modeling for a bit. I've tried a lot of things.
I see your poses, man. Alright, this girl. She's not like us.
So it's funny. You're reacting like this. So I remember when I met this third mentor, and I started talking about photography. For him, it was a case of, oh, I thought you were just a model. You're a photographer too. And then I remember saying, and at this time I had created an actual website, like a portfolio thing that looked nice. And he was like, let me see your work. And I was ready. So by the time he opened up the website, he was like, wow, I love your work. And for him, it wasn't even a case. He didn't even approach me to say, he said, let's work together. I call him mentor just as a sign of respect. But he contacted me saying, Thabang, I love your work. Let's work together. And that is why in one of my YouTube videos, I'm like, this is how you can get the best photographers to want to mentor you rather than you chase, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So with him, I learned how to use strobes. We shot Black Coffee's wedding together. It was, that was another learning curve. And you also learn that photographers work differently. So it's up to you what you want to take. Your mentor's not God. Your mentor's not going to spoon feed you. Your mentor doesn't know everything, but you need to take what works for you and then run with it. Don't be blind. They must see that you've also got a backbone, and you know that your style is not the same as theirs, and you have an end goal. My end goal is to deliver to my client, not to impress my mentor. And I think some people miss the plot there. Then I kind of fell out of that nest. And now I've got a mentor who's based in Italy. So during this whole time, I built my Instagram. So by the time I was stalking his profile, I found him on a website called Fearless. And that's basically where a lot of international photographers post their work. And I came across his work and started following him on Instagram. And there was a day I liked so many of his pictures, and he noticed my profile. And then he went onto my profile and he liked my stuff. And that's where we had a conversation. And remember, when you have a mentor, you started off as building a relationship. So they're not your mentor from the get-go. You have conversations. And I think about 6-7 months into it, that's where I had the conversation where I was like, what does it take for you to mentor someone? I didn't even say mentor me. I said, what do you look for in people you train or mentor? And he was like, he needs to connect with the person. And that request became so effortless because everything just fell into place. So your mentor's not there to do all the work. They guide you and they give you tips here and there. And it's up to you as an individual to think for yourself and also trust your gut. So, yeah.
So now you're at a phase where you are perfecting and sharpening your craft, because it sounds like you'll never stop learning.
Never.
There's always room for improvement.
Catch part 2, where we find out how Thabang eventually found the courage to write the resignation letter and pursue her photography passion full-time. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you if you've already subscribed. Now click on the notification button so you can be notified when a new video is uploaded.